Hi, folks. This is Lou, and I'm here to discuss the notion that Japan might have conquered both Korea and China in the late 16th century. I'm extremely skeptical about this. I'm even skeptical that Oda Nobunaga or Hayatomi Hideyoshi actually thought that they would be able to go to China. Maybe they thought that they would be able to conquer Korea. And of course, Nobunaga was assassinated before he had a chance to do it. But Toyotomi Hideyoshi actually took over all of Japan. And then he had a problem. He had all these armed people, samurai, all over the place. And if they didn't have something to do, they were going to get restless. So I think perhaps his major purpose in attacking Korea was to give these guys something to do and possibly give them new lands, what they could conquer in Korea. Very smart in that respect. Now, the actual evidence is that the Japanese failed in Korea. They did take over almost all of Korea, but a Korean admiral managed to defeat the Japanese Navy several times and ultimately was the reason why the Japanese had to pull out. It wasn't that the Chinese had sent assistance to Korea. It was that the Japanese couldn't get their ships around to the coast of Korea that faces China so that they could then supply men to go further in and go into China. Now, China is unimaginably huge compared to Japan, and that's the fundamental situation here. Even in World War II, the Japanese, despite having technological superiority and having a divided China between the communists and the nationalists, and having years to pursue the objective of conquering China before they got involved in World War II, they went nowhere near conquering all of China. Yes, the Mongols managed to conquer China centuries before, but the Mongols were land-based. They didn't have to bring things across the sea. And further, they had horse archers, which were much more technological superiority than what the Japanese had. And it took them more than 50 years to conquer China, even then. No, this notion that Japan could conquer China is a notion of people who look at maps and worship warriors instead of understanding logistics. And remember, Napoleon's maxim was, amateurs study tactics, professionals study logistics. And the logistics here just were too much for Japan to overcome. Thanks for listening.